working on my 1966 Impala again. About to take this on a road trip over the next couple days. Gonna go up to the Door County, Wisconsin with a few friends. Power tour is just a little bit far away this year for most of us, so we're just gonna take a short trip just together, and I think there's gonna be about 7 cars. Anyways, we're getting this thing ready to go, and what I'm gonna do today is I'm actually switching the thermostat around. So I had a 160-degree thermostat on the car, and that was doing fine previously with my old engine configuration. I had a 350 in here that was a little bit higher compression, and running down the road, this would be running about 180 degrees. I switched this to a 327 with a little bit lower compression. I ended up switching out the fan. Side story on that, but after switching out the fan with a new fan, I was actually getting really good flow through the radiators, pulling really well on air, so the car never gets warm. On a hot day, it'll get up to 150. On a cool day, I'm talking 120, 130. Basically, right when the thermostat starts to open, that's the temperature that it stays at. So what I'm doing is I'm switching out to a 195 thermostat, trying to actually make the car run hotter, which is strange to me. But the reason I'm doing that, trying to make the car run warmer, is because when the car is too cool, the oil never gets warm. When the oil never gets warm, it doesn't burn out contaminants like hot oil would. So, water boils at 212. So that's kind of your baseline. Now, not that your coolant needs to be that hot. Oil will get a little bit hotter than your coolant will anyways. But general rule of thumb is like 15 to 20 degrees warmer for the oil rather than the coolant. So stock thermostats on these cars were 195. If you look at your car, daily driver car, new one, they're all running about 190, even up to 210 on the thermostats. For the coolant, and that's because they have an oil cooler built into the radiator, because they want the oil to get up to 210. So 195 on the coolant temperature should give me about 210 on the oil. So should be able to get water out. Now there's also the matter of burning gasoline out of the car, out of the engine oil. So if you get a little bit of gas in there, it just sneaks past the rings like that. It happens, even if you have good ring seal, just, if you stomp the accelerator a couple times and then don't start it for some reason, that gas can work its way down into the crankcase. Well, you get up to about 180 on the oil temp, up to 200. Somewhere in there, the gas will start burning off actually out of the oil. And so that's actually good for the oil to be hotter. The oil will not start to degrade until it gets up to about 240, 250 oil temp. So that's why, if your engine gets up to about 220, that's usually about the stopping point for most people, because at 220, you're not killing anything, it's just hot. But you get up to 250 on the coolant temp, though, things are hot and things are getting hurt maybe. Going about changing it out my 160 thermostat to a 195 to make my car run hotter. So here's my 160 thermostat. I already took it out, and I might be able to read it. Yeah, no. Okay, well, it says 160 on the bottom. I'm switching it out to this 195 unit here. And this one, it's a different design. It's supposed to be a high flow design, honestly, because I'm a little bit worried about switching my temperature up by 35 degrees, but it should be fine. So it won't start opening until 180 degrees, and then it should operate fully open up at 195. So in reality, what I'm expecting to see is this thermostat is actually going to start opening at 180 and pretty much just stay slightly open or even close back down, because this having a new fan and a radiator that I've cleaned out, it cools down pretty well, even on these old cars. So I should be able to be fine with this 195 thermostat. Should be able to run, I hope, at about 180 at least, maybe in a really hot condition, sitting in stop and go traffic. maybe even get up to 195, even 200, and that's fine. I just want to, I want to make sure that I can get to operating temperature and maintain it rather than running down the road at 130 degrees all the time. Thermostat's installed. Yeah, kind of see it in there. Anyways, so gonna wait for the gasket maker to cure for me. It's recommends 24 hours for it, so I'll come back at it tomorrow, fill it with coolant, and then just start the car up, let it idle, and see how hot it gets. All right, sorry about the noise, but just to show the thermostat, maybe it'll focus. Yeah, so just cruising around. I'm running about 180 degrees now, going down the highway. See them going 60, 65. And it just runs at 180 degrees now, so that's right when the thermostat starts to open on a 195 thermostat. Driving around town, I was able to get it up to 195, just sitting in stop and go traffic, but cruising down the interstate, that was where I really had a problem running at 130, 135, which is when that 160 thermostat will open. That's just too cold. So got this brought up to 180. Everything else looks good, so I'm gonna call this one a win.